Hey, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful Father's Day yesterday. And I know that that's a day that can be filled with a whole lot of emotions. And for some, it's a day of joy, gratitude, connection. For some, it's complicated, a day of reflection, absence, and, you know, for some even pain. So wherever you fall on the spectrum, it's a day that gets you thinking about figures who shaped us, for people that are important in our lives. I'm Mike Malai. This is Words to Film By Monday mornings, along with my partners Scott Graham, Rich Goteri, and the whole to Film By team. We hope that you had a great Father's Day and have a great week. So those mentors, those guides in our lives that uh, left an indelible mark in our lives, uh, for better, for worse, for whatever reason, there are mentors in our lives. So, I hope that you're able to use that to give a powerful concept in storytelling. It is a powerful concept in storytelling, being able to reach into and use personal emotions and personal thoughts to add to your writing. I'm not talking about money or property, but about the unspoken inheritance uh, that you can write about. I'm talking about stuff that you kind of pass down, uh, that's passed down to you, and that you pass down to others. Even habits and mannerisms. There's things that my kids point out to me all the time that I do, and I think of the silly little things that my father did, and those that I really looked up to in my life, and I mocked it, I made fun of it, and I loved every second of it. The things that are repeated. Uh, I cannot say the word coffee without everybody going coffee. So those are things that are indelibly mine, and my kids bring that up to me and my friends. So, I have a tendency to write about that sometimes as a third person. It's the weight of expectation you inherited that is still trying, that you may still be trying to live up to, or trying to achieve, or maybe even trying to escape. So try to remember that, like, in the stories that we tell about our characters, even if it's something, it's cool to bring those little pieces into characters that we're developing, and this unspoken inheritance that we've grabbed. It's the ghost that follows us around and haunts us all the time. It's kind of, sometimes it's the wind at our back. It's sometimes the chip on my shoulder. Think about it. Like, even in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker inherits not just a lightsaber, but the the terrifying legacy of his father. The fear of turning into the very thing he is fighting against, that which I've hated, I've become. That's something that I think we've all faced at some point or another. That's an unspoken inheritance. So when in writing, it's the character who meticulously organizes their bookshelves, not because of any reason that they're neat or they got OCD or whatever, but it's because of a one piece at a time kind of control that they inherited from maybe a chaotic childhood that they never speak about. You'll see it in certain movies. A person will take, the pen, the stapler, the pad of paper, and put it, evenly. That's not always OCD. That comes from some other reason. A person that's meticulous, a hitman that that is organized in his life, his knife, his plate, his spoon, his fork, all of that. It's little things like that that make interesting little tidbits to stories. It's the soul of a brand story. It's the legacy of the founder that never is really spoken about. But it's written in a mission statement sometimes, or it's even felt like it's even just a feel. It's a feel of the craftsmanship of a product. Maybe, it's like the trust that's been earned, not just claimed. So you think about that. I think about my uncle who just passed away. Great man. He was almost 100 years old. He was meticulous. He didn't use nails. He didn't use screws. He built everything in notches. It's an old craftsmanship. So think about that this week. Think about plot points and dialogue that happens on the surface, and what when you dig deeper into a rich, sometimes messy, beautiful soil of the unspoken things that we don't talk about. So because it's where your audience will find the truth, make it deep, go deeper, make that connection with your audience by giving those little tidbits into your story. The deeper the character, the deeper the story, the more interesting it is. Great stories are told in the gaps, in the spaces in between the right and the left. It's actually a way to make it interesting. Your job as a storyteller is to go mining into those spaces, find the gold that's there. So anyway, give that a try. Let me know what you came up with. I'd love to hear from you. Post on school, post on our website. Send me a note if you don't want to do that, or visit us on any of our social medias. So we're calling this one the inherited object. Like I said, it doesn't have to be an object, but it could be an idiosyncrasy, or a method that you do things. So focus on that character, and let's see what you come up with. Um, I came a lot from this weekend. I got a lot from it. It was not only Father's Day; it was my son's graduation party and my anniversary. So there was a lot to draw from in any storytelling situation. I want you to think of one single tangible thing that you can focus in on that object. I really want to hear about that. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week, and I want to hear from you. If you got any questions, remember we haven't come up with a date yet, but we're gonna have our 1 week free screenwriting lesson that's going to help you take your story from beginning to end, and we're going to touch on a bunch of stuff, and that's all going to lead up to that 8-week course. So anyway, sign up, subscribe wherever you're watching us, and come on and join us at Words of Film By. On behalf of Rich Gutierrez, Scott Graham, and myself, Mike Mili, I want you guys to have a great first act to your week, and thank you for tuning in. And for all you dads out there, happy Father's Day. And for all you mothers that had to pick up the strings and play father, happy Father's Day to you too. Have a great one.